Cheers, bud.
Welcome, everybody, to Algae, a Swamp Gang podcast, where we will be diving into the murky waters of our thoughts to see what dwells just beneath the surface. I'm your host, Novels, and with me today, a very special guest, Stray!
Yay, 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 yay. Thank you for having me, guys.
Welcome, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well, man. I'm happy to have you on. I feel like this is something that people probably expected right out of the gate and then just didn't get. So, but that's cool, man. That's what that was the goal, right? Just like trip them up a little bit.
I guess.
Nah, dude, no. But for real, I'm happy to have you on here with us today. And just a little background here. Stray is my broham here, and bro, we done some crazy ass shit together. We've done some crazy motherfucking shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have.
I've already hit the
Let's
F
dive
count like how many times, right? But
Can you not swear in this?
no, I'm just kidding. No, we do what we want here. We do what we want.
Wow.
This is Algae, bro.
Let's dive in.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Stray.
Yeet.
You want to tell everybody about yourself a little bit?
Well,
you want to give your own introduction?
Yep. My birth name is not Stray.
No, you're gonna hear his real.
But don't call me by what my mama
You
called me.
motherfucking see us out in out somewhere. Don't call him by his name. Just call him Stray.
There's so many words that rhyme with Stray.
We won't go there.
Okay.
We won't go there.
Hey Noel sounds a lot like. Never mind. No. Yeah, dude. I'm in Sky Swamp Orange with this boy. It's been quite a journey. I'm also, I guess, if you would call it an entity, one half of Stray and Novels. If you've ever seen us shaking these hips out on a fucking stage.
Straight up, man.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up.
Yep, self-absorbed.
We're so fucking
I'm like
corny.
a sponge.
We're the corniest, dude.
Yeah. No.
But, yeah. No, so, yeah, you guys might know him. You guys might know him from these streets. My man Stray over here. I'm probably going to call him Noel a few times throughout this, but...
He's got the
I got the pass. I got the pass. You don't. But I got the pass. But, hey, man. Let's dive right in.
Let's dive in.
We're going to dive right in. So, are you superstitious?
A little bit. It depends on what it is, though.
Just a little stitious?
Slightly
little
stitious.
stitious?
Yeah, little stish.
But, yeah, man, I don't know. I myself am kind of like superstitious. Like, it's probably, I'm like not like too religious, but I do believe in ghosts, which is probably a bit of like an oxymoron in a way. Yeah. But like, I believe in all that shit.
I know.
I
man.
mean, we're not going to get too much into the whole ghost thing, so to speak, but I do want to talk. Do you believe in curses?
Yes.
All right, man. I want to talk about curses.
I've seen them. I've lived them.
Yeah. But cursed projects, cursed art, cursed films, cursed bands. What's the first thing that comes to your head when I say, like, cursed?
Cursed band.
We don't have to dive into
Maybe,
this, but...
Sky Swamp Orange. Cursed as fuck, bro.
but on a high-key note, like, what's the first thing that comes to your brain?
Well, if we're talking, like, cursed, like, entertainment industry kind of stuff, first thing that comes to mind is, like, Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Like, just all this, like, weird stuff that happens, like, around, like, something so joyful as Wizard of Oz and whimsical, right? But then it's, like, there's people hanging themselves.
Supposedly.
People dying,
I'll
from,
tell
like,
you,
putting lead paint on them and all this kind of stuff.
A lot of things happened to the people on the cast that worked on that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the original Tin Man had passed away because the paint on him was too toxic.
Oh, I thought it was the witch.
The witch got health problems down the line.
Oh, that wasn't the lead paint?
It did have to do with the paint. The green paint was toxic. It did affect her down the line. But, yeah, the big one you just pointed out there was the Munchkin. who supposedly hung himself in the background.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you seen the supposed footage?
I've seen 2 cuts of that movie.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 cuts. One of them very obviously looks like a bird that got out.
A little bird that's like flying
that
around.
very obviously. The other cut that I have seen looks a hell of a lot like a munchkin
Like
in the background swinging on a rope, man.
Yep.
I mean, like, that I definitely think
And they're skipping.
100%.
They're skipping down this yellow brick road as that motherfucker is just swinging.
Oh, yeah. All the snow was asbestos.
What?
Yeah, when they're like anything that's coming, that little like poppy field area where it's probably not snow. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like there's like white and flakes everywhere. That's asbestos.
Oh damn!
I know that the witch, the lady that played the witch, I think Margaret, whoever, I can't remember her last name, but like she got some pretty serious burns as well because they were doing a stunt and something malfunctioned. Her costume caught fire.
Oh wow!
She was got some pretty serious burns.
She was lit.
But yeah, no, Wizard of Oz is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. You ever heard of Poltergeist being cursed?
Of course, yeah.
You had a lot of people on that set where like weird things were happening. People claim they said. I mean, how many people died of like very like terrible or mysterious circumstances that worked on any one of those films?
Yeah,
weren't
working with Alec Baldwin.
More than one hand. More than one hand, you'd have to count on.
Yeah, man.
Also, too, I mean, you look at Curse recently. This is a more recent one. By the time this hits the air waves of whatever source you're listening to or watching on, I don't know if this is going to be relevant anymore. But most recently, Shakira. Have you heard any of this Shakira stuff?
No, please elaborate.
Okay, so if you're from the New England area and you bought tickets to go see Shakira recently, the show got canceled. They didn't give like a very good explanation at all when it initially got canceled. No, I just saw it popped up. It was like what the fuck?
Would you go see Shakira?
Oh, I would go see Shakira in a heartbeat, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a she-wolf in my closet. But no, so the
Cut
Fenway
that right there. Put that out.
yeah, right. Fenway Park got canceled.
Okay.
That happened to do with structural integrity.
Yeah, they're like canceling.
They
all their
canceled
shows
2 shows in a row
right?
there, but
Yeah.
like structural integrity with the stage, it wasn't safe. The next show she was supposed to do in DC got canceled for the same reason. Now, that's not the only thing, okay? She had a show she played in New Jersey. An article came out after the show telling people that they should go find and go speak to their primary care physicians because they believe somebody was there and spread fucking measles at her show. Sounds a little fucking cursed to me.
Sounds like the test results don't lie.
Keep in mind, she just, got out of prison for tax evasion.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yo, isn't it weird when you see like specific celebrities like go to jail and stuff, and you're just like, damn, them?
Yeah, no,
Like,
for sure.
Who's the guy that played Blade?
Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, didn't he go to prison for tax evasion?
Probably.
And stuff like
a lot
that?
of people do. I
can't afford the tax.
I can't. I get my taxes fucking paid, dude.
Yeah.
But these people got money. Besides the point.
Rich people are the real curse.
For real. Way sidetracked on that one. But another one, too. I don't know, like, to me personally, this is not like a theory that's out there or anything, but, like, I feel like Blink-182 is a cursed band.
Yeah.
Now, it's not so much that, like, bad things happen while they're on tour or whatever, other than, like, their DJ friend that happened, like, years ago. That like,
well, I mean, they got so many, like, traumas for, like, each member.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It seems like every time they split apart and break up, that something terrible happens, and they're actually cursed to stay together as a band.
Wasn't that, like, the whole concept of their, like, last album?
Well, that's the most recent one. Like
they come together.
They come
every time
together.
there's
It's like
tragedy.
shouldn't be that way.
Because what was it? Mark Hoppus had cancer, right?
And that was
he
the
beat
most
that.
recent time
Yeah.
they got back together.
And
before that,
Travis Barker.
Travis Barker was in the plane crash. That was
Yep.
pretty close. They got together after that. I'm pretty sure there was another thing that happened.
I mean, Tom DeLonge went crazy. Shout out to Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, we thought he went crazy. We thought. But apparently he's out here doing some very legitimate...
He's out here doing the Lord's work.
Some very legitimate research on extraterrestrials and shit.
Man, you thought Angels and Airwaves was an album.
You
It's a
thought,
lifestyle, bro. No, yeah, they're a cursed band. I don't know. I mean, sucks to see Matt Skiba go.
Yeah, but
Maybe he got the
tour.
Blink curse, you know?
You got the tour now that's got Alkaline and Blink on it,
Yep.
and they're bringing them up there. I mean, that's like...
Oh, another one that we were talking about earlier, Tom Morello.
Tom Morello.
Anything that involves Tom Morello is cursed.
I would agree with that. I mean...
Either that or he's just a dickhead to work with.
I don't know. You know, it seems like he seems like a nice guy, like overall, and like interviews and stuff, but like...
He's talented, but... It seems like nobody wants to keep the band going.
Never, dude. I mean, you got Rage Against the Machine, which is broken up more times than I can even count. You've got Audio Slave.
I don't think they're putting out a new album soon.
That's fucked.
I'm cursed. It's okay.
Prophets of Rage.
Yep.
And I think there was one more, too.
Street Sweeper Social Club.
Whatever.
I think that was the name of it.
But...
They were cool, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, some things
Then you have, like,
don't...
the Night Watchman or something, or... Is that just a solo project?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't follow Tom Morello that close.
No idea.
I know he does the...
But...
Yo, Ronnie does that a little bit.
Yeah.
Too. But, like, tastefully.
Tastefully, for
A little
sure.
bit better. A little bit better.
Clean licks.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see.
Cursed objects.
Oh. Yo, did you hear about the Annabelle stuff?
I've heard all
and
about it.
Annabelle went missing?
Bro.
What?
All right,
How
this
do you
guy,
lose that thing?
Let me tell you, too, because this guy claims that it... No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Look at this video.
Just swapping out the Raggedy
Bro,
Ann.
it's green screen as fuck.
Yeah.
It's green screen. That doesn't prove anything. But yeah, no, that's crazy too, because you had in New Orleans,
Yeah.
the what was it, like 8 people busted out of jail while Annabelle was there. You had, I forgot, maybe this was also New Orleans, but it was some southern city where Annabelle was there, and then the plantation
It was
burned
like
down.
Texas or some shit, right?
Some shit, but the plantation burned down.
Oh.
This, dude, I don't know. I wouldn't fuck with that doll.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't touch it, dude.
And they keep that thing, like, out our way, man.
Yeah,
In
I'm
Connecticut.
Monroe, right?
Yep.
But I don't know, dude. At the same time,
I've
we're going down the like
I drove up to
paranormal
that
route.
house.
I'm sure
and
you
stuff,
have. There's a
and,
lot of stuff I definitely wouldn't be touching and picking up. It's all
creepy.
cursed over there,
It's
dude. It's all
Well,
cursed.
I mean, you know...
But that goes to, that's like really has a lot to do with how much like do you believe like all the stories to what degree.
Yeah.
I mean, this is me personally because like we can go down this. I mean, we're talking about this is basically a whole house full of cursed objects, so to speak. But I don't know, me personally, like I love the stories, I really do, and Ed and Lorraine Warren are what got me into like the occult stuff and superstition and paranormal and cursed objects.
Mm-hmm.
However, on the flip side of that, like I have done a lot more research into them as people.
That they're full of shit.
And like it's about 2% of everything is like backed up by and corroborated by other people that were there. And then the other 98% is just like completely fluffed up bullshit. Like,
isn't it? Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I thought I heard something like Ed would like employ people
and fuck them.
to like really?
Yeah, dude, he was Lorraine knew about it. It wasn't like a secret like
listen, this the $1 million ghost business,
yeah,
baby.
nah, dude. He had
You
like this
sit
little
down.
assistant that his personal assistant, which was, by the way, a 15-year-old girl that was on the bus that he drove before he was a famous
What?
paranormal investigator. So A little fucking weird, if you ask me. But he kept her alongside him his whole life. Lorraine fucking knew. She knew.
But was Lorraine skimping around?
I don't know.
I mean, she was always
she
with
wasn't
these
no
ghosts.
looker.
She was always with the ghosts.
I'll say this, man. The biggest scam that the Warrens ever pulled on any of us was the fact that Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga play the two of them in the biggest horror movie franchise of our generation.
I'm excited
right
for
now.
the new Conjuring, dude. I
Yeah,
love
me
the
too.
Conjuring
But
series.
like, let me tell you what, Ed Warren wasn't no slim Patrick Wilson handsome guy. He was
it's Hollywood. We got to beef
he was
it up.
huffing and puffing quite a bit when he was.
You know what fucks me up about that dude though? Not the guy that plays him.
Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but he's in like too many horror franchises.
Oh, like Insidious.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, is this the Marvel universe of like fucking horror?
I think
is this all gonna start?
He's
connecting?
in the multiverse.
That's what I'm saying.
horror.
I'm just like, why?
I like
There's
Patrick Wilson.
Give me
too.
some Walton
like,
Goggins, man. Like what?
Is your name Jesus Christ?
Don't be cross.
Jesus Christ.
I love Walton Goggins.
Yeah, me
Shout
too.
out Walt. He's a fan of the show.
Walter. Nah, Walton.
Call
But
him what his mama calls him.
other cursed shit, man. I'm trying to go through my Rolodeck in my brain of things that are cursed. I
Well-
lived in what I felt like was a cursed house for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I've had plenty of paranormal experiences. Some with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Dude.
Shout out
lived
to
in-
Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, yours was like pretty specific
That
to
was-
like
that was
touching
weird,
some,
man. And
some shit you shouldn't
Like
have
I'm not a person who, I don't know, like prior to that I was always like, yeah, I think I believe in ghosts, or at least wanted to believe, but hadn't had like too many paranormal experiences. But man, we all took a little group trip out to Salem around Halloween time or
Yeah,
something.
this was like my 21st birthday, yeah?
Maybe
Around that time?
I knew we were doing some bar hopping out there and hitting all the haunted houses and stuff.
I think I got a fucking car bomb at every goddamn bar we stopped at.
But I mean, having a good time. But in Salem, they got like this big, like the guillotine structure.
Yeah.
Where they'd fucking lop those noggins off. And it's all like roped off and stuff. And of course, I'm just like, I'm gonna go touch it, like a asshole.
Yeah,
And
we've all been there.
the liquid courage was flowing, and I was, with my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, and she's yelling at me like, don't do that. You're stupid. You don't know what you're messing with. And I'm like, I'm gonna just touch the rock, okay? Touch the rock. Whoop-de-doo. I'm out, okay? Well, weird things after that moment in the night started happening, and I know you remember one of them.
Well, you invited me over your house the next day.
I'm talking about the ride home.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're driving.
Dense fog out of nowhere.
A super dense fog just comes into Salem. Looks so eerie down all the alleyways and stuff. Every picture that we had from that night just had orbs like all over the place.
Yeah.
People in our party were starting to act a little weird, and I don't know if it was alcohol.
I'm not sure. I mean,
But-
look, you could sit here and say these guys are like, you guys were all drinking. I'm sure you're just like thinking too much.
Yeah.
Which absolutely could have been the case. 100%.
For sure.
While we were in Salem, with the abnormal, certain emotions with people. But there is something to be said about when you got back home.
Oh, dude, we're going too fast. Too fast. Pump the brakes like we had to do on the
them.
highway.
We're reversing.
Okay? So we're
Put it
driving.
in reverse, Terry.
We're driving home. It's like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning, something like that.
It was late.
Um,
Witching hours.
yeah, it's dark. This huge dense fog on the highway. We're driving, and all of a sudden you see like kind of like hazard lights flashing, like in the fog. There's like no cars out either, like none around us, and we see this car, and it was like kind of crooked, like in the road,
Yeah,
a
it was
little
like
bit,
in-
like as if there had been an accident or something.
Yeah,
right?
but they were just out of their car.
But there was nobody in the cars, right? It was just like these abandoned cars. I remember we had to like weave kind of around them to get past them, and then we just saw this woman just standing in the middle of the highway. Remember that?
Yeah, that was weird. That was
and
freaky.
she was just like dead staring off into like the distance. Like, I don't know if there had been an accident and she was like stunned or something, but it was the most eerie thing. And looking back, maybe we should have stopped, but also it was like, let's get the fuck out of here type of stuff, you know?
Yeah,
And
definitely uneasy feeling.
I don't know, like it was so creepy. And I remember even the next day, like trying to look up to see if there was like an accident report or something like for that area, and I couldn't find anything. But I remember the next day, you know, my girl and I are in the we come home, and there's what sounds like somebody like walking around upstairs. Like it sounded like boots, like walking. And it was like, it was so instant that I thought somebody had broke in or something, like somebody's walking around upstairs. And so I'm like, I'm grabbing the bat and stuff, you know, like I'm telling her, I'm like, yo, like, get ready to call 911, like if like some shit's about to go down, right? And, you know, I muster up the courage to like go upstairs and stuff. There's nobody. But what's so weird was like right in the middle of my bedroom floor was the prayer card for a friend of ours that had passed away, that was so strange because like,
Yeah, that's pretty freaky.
like, and I was like, whoa. And I picked up the card, you know, and you know, my wife's with me, and like, she could back this up, you know. It's like I said the person's name out loud, and then the wood in the bedroom door just like cracked.
That's freaky.
It was super freaky.
That's
man.
freaky.
And then like a huge thunderstorm like rolled in, and it was like shaking the house, dude. It was such. I remember I called you. I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. I think like I brought back some bad juju or something from Salem, and we went and saged the whole place.
No,
and,
that helped though.
Yeah.
That helped.
Yeah,
I
it
remember
was-
that. Yeah. No, I remember I went there before you saged it, and it was definitely like you could hear like
yeah,
upstairs
like
and
just
shit.
bangs and stuff, and it wasn't like the creak of a house.
No,
you know?
it was like
this was like somebody walking with work boots on.
Well, dude, I know all. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was weird.
Well,
man.
I mean, you know a little bit more about this than most people. I don't like. I wrote House of Horrors about like a house that I lived in like when I was younger.
yeah,
And to me that was like a cursed house basically. I mean, we lived there when he was living, it was like a duplex, so the house was like split in half.
mm-hmm.
So on the other side was this guy, and he was like an asshole when he was alive. Like, bro, I'm a kid, I'm just playing Guitar Hero, you know, in the living room at 9 a.m. on super quiet volume, and he would just smack on the walls. Like,
Maybe it was your button tapping.
how do you fucking, that's not my problem. You can hear that through. What do you got your ear to the wall? That's
nosy
whatever.
neighbors are
He
a
was a
real
dick
thing.
when he was alive, and then he just like, there was fucking ambulances and like a fire trucks in a coroner outside my house one morning, and then shit got real weird.
Karma's a bitch.
But I used to hear people walking all the time, up and down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Things would move all the time. Like, you would put something down in one place, and then you would go walk away, come back, and it would be like in a different part of the room.
Oh wow.
And that's like
That's
even more
freaky.
kind of freaky, kind of, because then it's like,
This
yo,
thing has
like
the ability
that's
to
like
move an object.
that's some serious manifestation of energy to be able to like put something in one place and then it's in another now.
That's like
I
the kitchen knife was in the
remember
drawer.
this.
Now it's in my throat.
It haunted me for a long time, for real. We got a phone call on the landline, and it like didn't register a phone number. Like, our own phone number came up on the. It was like weird.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, and it was this most haunting voice I've ever. It was like, kind of like crackly.
be like this.
It kind of like the skit.
Like the skit being
recorded.
before it, and it
Yeah.
said, "I'm watching you," and then it was just static, and that shit scared the fuck out of me.
That's creepy.
But
man.
that was like just small one thing that happened. We had another thing too, where like, I mean, I provoked it a little bit,
Yeah.
but I went down into the basement because obviously that's like the creepiest room in the entire house is the basement. And I went down
Classic.
there with a video camera, which the battery was already dead. So like I plugged it into the wall charging and left a recorder going for like audio. And I left it down there. I went back upstairs, went back down. The camera's unplugged from the wall and it's dead. I plugged it back in,
Damn.
went upstairs. When I was reviewing this evidence, I had at the time a friend of mine, Terrence, was there. And he was like going through stuff with me, like looking at that stuff. And on the camera, you see this white orb go back and forth through the screen and then shoot out. So that was like the first thing we caught, like on cam. The other thing on the recorder, the first thing you hear when I was like, "Oh, you don't want to show yourself," because like the camera was unplugged, and you hear a response and it said, "You're such a show off." And then something is grumbled. I could never like clean
It's like
it up.
it knew what you were gonna become.
Like maybe but like I couldn't clean it up enough to get like the clear audio of like what it was trying to say, but it
Yeah.
was grumbled. And when we were listening back to that, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? All of a sudden up the basement stairs, it was like somebody running full speed
Fuck
upstairs
that.
and punched the basement door.
No.
I have never exited a building faster in my life.
I don't think shit would
And
have
I kind of
exited
lived in
me any
the,
faster.
in the hood at that point in time. So, like, going outside
Yeah.
wasn't very comforting either.
It's not
But,
much
like,
better out
I had,
there.
like, this little small, probably, like, 10 or 15 foot yard by, like, 10 or 15 feet.
Yeah.
And we just sat out there till my mom got home, like, 4 hours later. I was, like, not fucking with it at all. The best day of my life was when we moved out of that house. That was like the craziest place I ever lived.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, that was like that's a cursed energy right there. You know, like
Well, you know, if we're kind of rolling on the topic of cursed places and stuff, now, depending on who you ask in the band, they might have like different
a different opinion,
a different take on this, if you will.
Yeah,
But so for anybody who is a fan of Sky Swamp, I guess that's listening, we used to have a studio space in a old like remodeled like mill, kind of on the right off of this river.
Farmington River.
Yeah, the Farmington River, and
it's an old mill too.
It's very
it goes
old,
back
very old.
couple hundred years when they used to use it for like water power.
But like, I mean, aside from like, there's a lot of people working in this mill, you know, different shops and stuff, but it's like, so there's always noise kind of going on. But you'd get to a certain point in the night, like we would record like pretty late at night.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff, because we normally had to wait until any of the businesses closed to kind of make some noise. And I don't know what it was to this day, but there was some sort of just bad energy in that place that just like, I don't know, like it's hard to describe, but it's like you could feel it in your chest.
I mean, there was definitely
Especially like in the control room.
a couple
like-
of different weird things in there for sure. I mean, that like little closet space that we had that went to like a dirt floor
Well, the
and
person-
everything, and then like there was weird paintings all over when we first got it. We had to
Yeah.
move all the paintings out. I always like, look, I'm also
There was
like,
the face too.
yeah, I'm superstitious. You know, I already said that, so like I
seem like you
probably
don't wanna
like
talk about
overthink
it.
and overdo stuff. But there was this handprint on the wall that was used with only the left hand,
Yeah.
only the left hand, and it did make like a pentagram shape.
Yeah.
I always had, and then we painted over it, and I was always like, ah, man, that gives me bad juju. But
But what was creepy too is like the control room of the studio where we had the computer and everything, right above it, like it was like I don't know, like a wood ceiling kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like old wood. But there was like a fucking face that
Kind of contorted.
that had been like kind of like, I don't know, drawn on the wood, or if
out of the patterns that were in the wood naturally.
but I'm telling you, it just looked like this
like
like distorted, like demon looking face, and it was, dude, I don't know, it always made me feel like super uneasy, like especially
there was
like
that creepy church at the end of the hall too that did
yeah,
like weird
dude.
sermons at weird times of day
they
and
pray
night.
with snakes over there, man.
It was,
Like,
yeah, dude,
I don't
some
know,
weird stuff happening.
It definitely some weird vibes in that place, but I don't know, like, even, you know, not to jump too much into like our history, but like the kind of revolving door that studio kind of became of different casts of characters that would kind of come and go. It was just weird. I feel like people would come in one way and they'd leave another way.
Yeah.
And also,
I mean,
I feel like, I don't know, it could have just been like, you know, during like tense times in the band.
Energy is
A lot of energy in the
manifested
place.
a lot of the time, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
But like I will say,
Shameless plug, go listen to
collectively,
Odium.
yeah. Collectively, I think after we like had moved out of that spot, I think all of us have grown in a more positive way.
Oh, hell
as
yeah.
well, too. So that's
We're all fucking besties.
maybe that says something.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, on that note, though, I say we're going to take a quick break and hand it over to the best sponsor in the world real quick, and then we'll be back.
Let's dive in.
I don't know if I'll leave this in there or not, but I do want to point out that I remember when we were sitting in the studio, and you looked up and you're like, "Ronnie, is that a face?"
Yeah, dude, I'm not.
I'm like, where? And you're like, that right there, and I'm like, bro, you're out of your fucking gourd. It's a fucking knot in the wood. You
It had teeth and
you
everything,
are absolutely
dude.
crazy. I never saw a face in that.
You saw it, right?
I did.
I mean, you guys are the superstitious ones.
That's true.
I don't know,
I
man.
will say, though, I don't know about the studio being cursed, but it definitely had some weird energy to it, and maybe that's just from our experiences and the people that we dealt with. But
I think
that's called bourbon and broken
manifestation-
dreams,
Yeah.
baby.
it definitely was something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take a break. Hey there, and welcome to the sponsorship portion of this content. Now, you might be wondering, who would sponsor these two goobers? Like, who would do that? Well, it's me. I'm sponsoring my own content. And you might also be wondering, what do you mean your content? Isn't this Novels content? And well, yeah, he is the host, but I'm the one behind the camera. I'm the one that makes Novels look as good as he does for all of you. And also, I'm the one that mixes the audio and makes sure that your little earbuds can hear this man as well as they do. All right? So that's why my little new production companies are sponsoring this video. That's right, Blood Moon Visuals and Solar Flare Media are going to be the sponsors of this content right here. Blood Moon Visuals is my passion project page where I will be posting, you know, behind the scenes stuff, little creative videos that I make, basically anything that comes from the mind of me, Ronnie. And so far, all the Sky Swamp content comes from me and me alone, and that is Blood Moon Visuals. Now, Solar Flare Media is going to be my client work. Anything that's not Sky Swamp or Ronnie related is going to be Solar Flare Media. That'll be the hub for all the things that I can do for all different kinds of clients and anyone else interested in working with me. So if you want to follow me for my creativity, go follow Blood Moon Visuals, blood_moon_visuals. And if you perhaps want to get some client work from me, go follow Solar Flare Media, solar_flare_media. And there's not a lot of stuff on those pages right now, but there definitely will be in the future. So thank you. Stay tuned. Appreciate you.
And shout out to Ronnie with that message.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Blood Moon, baby.
What did you call him?
The Blood Moon.
Wow.
Because I love his rosy cheeks.
I've known him longer. I call him Mr. Solar Flare.
Solar Flare.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're back, you
Let's
had
dive
you had brought up another topic you wanted to talk about today, which I'm actually pretty excited to talk about here. You wanted to talk a bit about ego, and at what point does that affect the things that you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish.
Oh yeah, man. Because I was thinking about it the other day. It's like how much of ego really relies within the person, and how much of it is just created by another person's perspective of that person.
Well, I mean, that's a very solid point.
Because, like, I see people and I'm like, that fool's full of shit.
I mean, yeah,
You
there
know?
are some
But,
people
like,
that are completely just like...
What if they're not full of shit?
I mean...
And I'm just being a dick.
Well, I mean, it depends what you're looking at here. I mean, we've worked throughout local music scenes for a long time, and you can definitely see how, like,
Oh my
a
God.
little bit of steam up somebody's ass can completely, like, ruin, like, whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to do any specific name drops here, because, like, I'm not trying to start beef. I don't give a shit.
I will. Don't bleep this out. No, I'm just kidding.
But I will say, you know, I mean, we've seen it where, like, somebody gets a little bit of buzz, you know, beforehand. It's like, oh, yeah, it's decent. They're cool. And then, like, okay, you sold 25 tickets, which, by the way, is not that many tickets.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, you sold 25 tickets, and now you think you're, like, shit don't stink, and you're up on a stage doing that, and it's like you've completely deflated.
Well, you know, and on the flip side of that, I can also say, like, with us, like, our band had, like, an interesting kind of start in the local scene out here.
Oh, definitely.
Because, like, how should I say this? Like, we got lucky,
Well,
like, early on. Like, kind of just with, like, just opportunities through people that we kind of networked with prior to that. You know, like, before Sky Swamp, I was in other bands and stuff, and I knew a lot of, like,
networking
local
goes,
musicians
yeah, a long
that
way.
were, like, the generation before me who, like, ended up becoming, like, promoters and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know what I
well,
mean?
and still a couple of those people were still, like, you know, work with
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
for
like
sure.
that, you know.
And, but it's like with Sky Swamp, we kind of got lucky, and I feel like a lot of, like, local bands kind of resented us in the beginning, and maybe we were like, people could have looked at us like, oh, these dudes think they're hot shit, and it's like, oh no, we're just some kids who are, like, getting lucky and just having a good fucking time doing it. You know what I mean?
I mean, to the point of that statement, you know, I mean, you had guys out here that had been in a band for between, like, 7 and 15 years or so, trying to put in the work, get these big opportunities. And look, I'm not,
I'd hate
again,
us too.
I would say even to our own degree, like, we definitely put a little bit of ego on, you know,
I'm sure,
for sure. Like, it happens, like, whatever. I've done a lot of cool shit and whatever. Like, you know, there's ego right there.
But that's
like,
the thing too, is, like, I mean, even my own personal experience is, like, I'm sure, like, over the years, especially, like, in the beginning when we're getting cool, like, when you're young and you're fresh in the music stuff and you're getting what feels like a giant opportunity, and you don't see, like, really anybody else around you, and they're just, people are being bitter towards you. It's almost like, because of their ego getting in the way of their opinion of us, creates an ego within us of, like, oh, you don't like me? Well, fuck you. Because guess what? We are the shit because we got this
I
opportunity.
will
You
say
did it. You know,
there is
it's like, it's a
something
dual-sided
so
thing.
funny about negative, like, attention being given to you, like, and hate, that, like, almost does boost your own ego, because it's like somebody is paying so much attention to you to, like, throw a negative, like, shade at you, that, like, it makes you feel more important almost, because there's so much energy being put into that. But it is interesting. We did see a lot of that. Look, you know, we dropped our first EP in 2016 together as a band. 2017, we were given a date at the Hartford Vans Warped Tour, and a lot of people within our scene, you know, I mean, We were going pretty hard with like the marketing tactics though. I mean, I did like the whole like wax my chest thing or whatever,
Well,
and we did like the
that's the
eating
other thing
peppers
too,
or
man. It's
whatever,
like
you know.
we put in the work though. But the problem is like it doesn't feel like work because we're just having fun like doing this kind of stuff. But it's like, I think from the outside looking in, like, I get it if you're like a band that's been doing it like a decade plus in like the local scene, and you know, and and I just want to say, like, some of these like local bands are phenomenal acts,
Really, really good.
You know what I mean? And if they got in front of the right people, or networked the right way, or marketed themselves the right way, they could have been doing awesome stuff. But you know, I think it's when you're young in a band, you know, you kind of spend the first year, you're just figuring it out. So you're dicking around a lot. You know, you're just kind of partying with your friends, and you're like, yeah, I get to play music and, you know, like go on the road or something. But it's like a lot of us don't figure out like the business aspect of it until we're older and we've like lived that. But then you're at that point in your life, well, I've got mad more responsibilities now and have like people to provide for and all these stuff. So you got to be more strategic about things, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But for a lot of people, when they're at that point in their life, they don't have the availability to go be pushing stuff and like marketing and like devoting all their time to this thing, because they have a whole nother life now. You know, we're not just like kids who aren't even getting paid to play. We're just hoping to get like some drink tickets,
Right?
you know, and
you
like,
know, but I can see how it can. In that aspect, I can see how you can grow bitter over somebody pretty quickly.
100%.
I mean, jealousy and envy are a hell of a thing, you know? Like, and it's not even like
Yeah.
a lot of the time it's not even hate towards you, you know? It's just like, I wish that was me.
I get that too, but it's also like, it's strange too when, I mean, I think we've always been like our whole band, like every member is like always been, we've all been people that are willing to like help out our friends in any type of way they want.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know, most people would have to pay me to get on a podcast, but for you, I was like, shit, half price, bro. No. But,
got the discount coupon.
But like, you could be in a position though where it's like, we've had other musicians that have been close to us over the years and stuff, right? That, you know, you're just like, oh, well, I figured out how to do this. I want to help my homie get there too. You know what I mean? So you're like, hey, this is who you need to talk to. This is what you need to like, you know, send off, all this kind of stuff to get you in this same position. But them not wanting to put in that work. And
Well,
then,
I mean,
but then people get mad
that goes
when they
toward,
don't get that opportunity. But you had all the same tools that we did. So why is your ego getting in the way then?
Well,
you know?
that's what I was just going to say. That touches towards it as well. You know, it's the expectation.
Well, I think
So, like with the ego coinciding, the ego obviously fuels the expectation.
Yeah.
So when you have that expectation there, and then all of a sudden it's like it can't just be given.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the ego really inflates, and then you have bitterness, aggression, and I'm missing the word, but resentment.
Yeah.
Resentment, you know? So there's something to be said there about how
Right.
ego can be negatively impact things.
But I think also ego, to an extent, can be a positive thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like anything.
It's a
You
smart
need everything
business
in
play.
moderations. You know what I mean? Like,
Moderation is key.
I know for myself, it's like, you know, I do a lot of just writing kind of regularly, and you know, there's times where it's like having like, I don't know, I think people like confuse like ego and confidence.
Well, there is a difference.
You know
there.
what I mean? Like, because, like, well, you know, it's like, if we're writing a song or something, it's like, I could be, like, lacking, like, the confidence in the song, like, in myself, being like, man, I don't think my voice sounds that good, or, like, these lyrics could be better, or something, right? And then it's like, you could come along and be like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, that line right there is fire. Like, that little imperfection in your voice right there is like what's making that part. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's...
And maybe that was the ego boost I needed in order to just motivate me to actually finish that task.
Well, I mean,
Where I'm
right
like,
there...
oh, okay, maybe this is cool. Maybe I am cool. You know what I mean?
That's a little bit of balance, though, on the
Yeah.
scales of, like, id and ego. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying there? So, I mean, that's, like... I think that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there is a difference between confidence and ego. But I think too much confidence can inflate your ego
Yes.
at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, you can be very confident. Confidence and ego, I feel like, you can tell a lot about through when you meet somebody and in your introduction and in like a handshake, you know, like I think that alone you can already tell is this person confident or are they egotistical? Because if you go to shake somebody's hand who's confident, they're going to give you like a firm, good handshake there. It's going to feel like somebody's egotistical. They're going to talk themselves up. They're going to be, this is what I've done. And then you know the handshake I'm talking about. It's like a weak. It's not there, man. I don't want to be friends with you. You give me a shitty handshake. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
But you get that, yeah. I do this and that. I'm cool. Yeah. And then you get the little fish flop going.
That wet noodle hand.
It's a wet noodle hand, man. I'm not about it.
Or when you're like opening for a bigger band and, you know, you see them like prior to the show and you're like, hey man, you know, like, thanks for having us out, or, you know, like, we're stoked to be opening for you guys. Like, it's an honor, like, trying to show some respect. And they're like, yeah, thanks for coming.
And then
they just keep walking. I'm like, all right.
Then
all
like
right.
the next show, they're wearing the same exact outfit that you had on.
Damn. But
twice.
But is that also that take, right? You know, we see this band walking away and we're like, fucking assholes.
Maybe that's our ego.
But that's what I'm saying, is that our ego thinking like, you should have wanted to talk to us because we're the shit. Like,
I will say, the act that we're talking about right now, I will absolutely say that same night that I know for a fact that they had a guy who definitely paid way too much money and knew somebody else, like, that knew these guys to get them into, like, the back room, green room area with them, and they were stuck with that guy all fucking night.
Wait, that happened?
Yes, that happened.
Now I'm curious who this was.
I don't want to name drop this guy.
He paid to hang out in the green room?
There's no fucking way otherwise why he would be up there. I'm just saying he's not cool. He's not important.
You're going to have to remind me of who this is.
I'm going to tell you who it was after this,
Yeah.
but, like, he definitely was annoying the shit out of them. So, like, full, you know, respect to that. I don't believe that they'll ever watch this and pick up on the fact that we are talking about them right now. But, like...
Hey, if I don't know who we're talking about...
They probably don't know we're talking about them. That's for sure. I'm not talking about the guy. I'm talking about the
ghosts.
Yeah. Talking about the act that we were opening for.
Okay.
But I mean, on another level of like ego and stuff, you know, oh man, there's some bands that like I love, but also the ego of the people kind of gets like in the way a lot of the art, I feel like, and kind of like, here's the thing.
Fucking Limp Bizkit.
I wasn't going to drop that. I can't talk too much shit. I got this tattoo on my arm here.
Well, yeah, there's one, but like...
Shitty tattoo, too.
Like, I'm not hating on Limp Bizkit, and I know it's like a deep-seated joke at this point. you and the rest of the band all think that I've got this deep-seated hatred for Limp Bizkit. I don't, okay? They've got some hits. I respect the longevity. Fred Durst comes across like an asshole, okay? And here we are 30 years of like Limp Bizkit, right?
I want to call out something real
You
quick.
can kind of tell. Nah, dude,
This is
I know
Ronnie.
what you're going to fucking
I'm
say.
going to say it.
And it's
I'm
not
saying
fucking true.
It's happening.
Oh my God.
When we were 15 maybe, 16 years old, you said you were calling out your idols. I remember we were in your parents' house. We were calling out your idols. We were about to make fucking one of those Shaded Grace songs. And you're like, Fred Durst is one of my idols. I look up to this
dude,
man. And
can
he
you
refuses
imagine
to.
this sentence coming out of my mouth?
You better say yes, John.
Dude,
You don't want my answer. That's the problem. You don't want my actual answer.
There had to be some sort of context to what I would never in my life would I say Fred Durst is an idol.
You know why you're refusing? Because your ego's getting in the way.
Oh shit, dude.
I'm just saying, like, this man did design a red Rogue Hollow cap at one point in time, and I think I might have seen him wear it backwards.
I haven't even received it yet.
Never mind then.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Let's dive in. Yo, but like, no, it was probably like Fred Durst is like, you know what was awesome about Limp Bizkit to me? Like when I first discovered them at the young age of whatever, I loved the aesthetic of the band. Like I loved how like their artwork and everything, like how Wes Borland's weird ass, like I just loved how wacky it was and but super visually super like hip hop oriented. And it's like I was a hip hop kid growing up, and it's like, so when I saw like the cover of what's that, their album, is it Significant Other? That's got like the graffiti yeah, okay.
Or $3 bill.
No, not that album. It's like the more colorful one, like I think it's got it's on that album.
It probably is Significant Other.
But I thought it was like just super cool artwork, and I remember I bought the album and I thought it was cool, but I was super into Linkin Park and like POD. So I'm thinking like Sonny Sandoval and Mike Shinoda are way better rappers than this guy. Like these are better versions of what's happening over here. But I liked the aesthetic of Limp Bizkit more. You know what I mean? And,
well, I mean,
dude,
the ego.
They had some bops. Like,
I think the ego actually helped their career.
But that's the thing. It's like, was that actually Fred's ego, or was that just the character?
Well,
that
the
he
character
was portraying,
had ego.
Well, and there, you know what? It circles right back to the local bands. Okay? I think, when we were first coming up in the local scene, we actually are devout concert goers ourselves, like everybody in our band. And we appreciate good showmanship. Like when you go to a show, you want to see a show. So if you're seeing us doing a bunch of antics on stage and acting like our shit don't stink, like while we're up there, that's not like a ego thing, bro. It's like we're putting on a show. Like, what do you want to watch? Some guy that looks fucking timid?
Yes, that's true.
Like,
mousy.
Please open up that pit. Like, come on, dude. Like, no. We used to joke the Frontman 5000 theory. It's like, dude, it's like you want some like asshole, like kind of like,
you kind of do,
just strutting around up there. But even all of us, like all the antics we used to pull, like you crawl, like sliding around on your back playing the bass.
Yep.
Ronnie fucking running off the stage and climbing ladders and whatnot, like playing guitar. It's like, it's all fun shit to watch, man.
Well,
you know
I think
what
that's always something that we really tried to.
But they're like, look at these guys. They think they're hot shit. It's like, yeah, at this local bar at 9:00 on a Thursday, we are the shit, bro. And we're going to act like it because we're having fun, man.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, that's the best part of the shows to me, though, is like, people, I don't know what it is, like from a, like the crowd perspective, but like, I know for me personally, it's like I look forward to watching the rest of you guys on stage. Like, I love to make Hunter uncomfortable as possible by just like awkwardly staring at him.
Well, he's staring at our asses the whole time anyway, so.
Yeah. But like, I'm always looking for like what crazy ass like random shit you're about to do or say or something like that. Ronnie's always trying to like, I don't know, take my head off with his guitar pretty much. Like I'm having to dodge him. It's like, it's just, you know, for however long the set is, it's just fun to be like rocking out with your friends. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think I mean, for me personally, it's like, I don't even like in the beginning, it was like, all right, let's put on a good show. And I think some of our worst shows were the ones that we let our ego almost like dictate how the set should go.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like
things that we were sure and positive that we had in the bag.
Yeah.
Were always the things that like ended up backfiring.
Yeah.
So to go with that, ego can be destructive at points too, because there you go.
Let's dive in.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be destructive as well. I mean, I think of it in a negative way. Like, don't get me wrong, I can't talk that much shit. As a band, I love Falling in Reverse. Mm-hmm. I do, but like Ronnie Radke, he's the kind of guy where sometimes like he'll start just talking shit, dude, like for no reason to like whole communities. And it's like, bro, stop. Just stop. And it's like, I get it. He's got more money than fucking God. So it's like, whatever. Do you think that's a character? No, I don't.
No.
I don't, unfortunately. And here's the thing. I met him a couple of times. Like, on the flip side, there's Franz, right?
Yeah.
From Attila. I've met him multiple times. Him as a character on stage.
Shout out to the Nutsack Chicken Baby.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Him on stage as a character. That's character ego right there.
Yeah, no.
But when you meet him,
he's mad
on
chill.
the other side of things, when he's not up there being Franz and he's like Chris.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's nice. He's chill to talk to. Super smart.
Yep.
Super cool. But again, on the flip side, you got like other people who are out there. It's like their ego runs their entire fucking.
Yeah, man.
And it's just.
You remember when we met the dude from Puddle of Mud?
Wes. Scantlin.
Wes not Borland.
Scantlin.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's been arrested more times than fuck.
Dude, that guy
I don't
was
give a shit,
jackass.
dude. He's an asshole. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I hope you hear this. Get your life together. Only song I gave a shit about was Blurry, and I heard it outside.
What's the other one they had? She fucking hates me.
Oh yeah, she hates me. That's it. That was Puddle of Mud. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Met a girl. Shut up.
What an era.
I mean, yeah, dude. But that guy thing, he's another one. Well, so is Chris Tyler Brown or whatever the fuck it is.
I don't
Chris,
know who that is.
The guy from Trapped.
Oh, fuck
like
that
he
piece
thinks
of
he's
shit.
really cool, but like nobody likes him.
Dude, nobody should.
Like
nobody should. If you like him, I probably don't like you.
They just play to empty rooms and shit like that, but he keeps it going because he's like
the real All-American.
They had that one song that was in every Halo reel on fucking YouTube back in 2006.
Is Trap the one that had Headstrong?
That's the one. That's in every Halo 2 and Halo 3 reel.
Cold. I get those two bands mixed up.
No, Cold was what I really meant to say.
Isn't that the same?
No, it's not.
It all feels like the same song.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's dad rock.
I'm confused. Or
it's dad rock for people our age.
Yeah, like that early to mid 2000s, like Buck Cherry vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always thought the dude from Buck Cherry looked like William Dafoe.
He does look like William Dafoe.
Really fucked me up a lot. Like first time I saw like one of their music videos when I was young, I was like, ain't that the Green Goblin?
I think Ego destroyed all those bands from that area.
Dude, okay, here's a question for you.
Buck Cherry, Hinder.
What era of music's got more ego? Is it the mid early 2000s or was it the 80s?
Oh, I love how we keep always circling back to the 80s over here.
Let's dive in.
It's the 80s. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Was it ego, though, or were they just so fucked up they didn't know what was happening?
It's both.
And we perceived it as ego?
It's both. It's both.
I don't know, man. Maybe
It's
that's where
100%
Rockstar
both.
ego truly
Because
started.
I'll tell you what, dude, I can drink a lot of whiskey and beer, and I don't want to throw a fucking TV out of a window
That's a
of a
lie.
hotel.
That's a lie.
All right, maybe I want
I've
to,
seen
but I
it.
won't because I'm not full of myself enough to do it, okay? It sounds fun, but I won't do it.
Yeah.
But, hey, dude, thanks for coming today.
What?
I said thanks for coming. We're wrapping shit up.
This is my show now. Welcome to Algae, where we dive in. Hit me up, Cash App, if you want a t-shirt.
Venmo.
PayPal.
But
Not Zelle.
you can find this man on Instagram at
Stray.
Stray.
Stray.sso.
That's it right
Pretty
there.
much on everything.
What else you got going on for socials? Anything you want to plug? Anywhere else they should follow you?
Yeah. Everything you need to find is at roguehollow.net. That's pretty much just a little portal that takes you to everything I'm pretty much involved in, man. You know?
There you go. RogueHollow.net. You can find him there. It'll bring you everywhere you got to be. You can find me on Instagram at ITZNOVLS at It's Novels. We now have a tag for you to find us for the Algae Swampcast. So you can find us at algae.swampcast or nope, that's wrong. That's the email. algae.swampcast@gmail.com. If you want to send us stuff, that's cool. Or you can follow us on Instagram at algae_pod. And you can find us there. And of course, this episode was brought to you by Blood Moon Visuals. And you can find them at blood_moon_visuals on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, thanks. You can, other than that, Sky Swamp Orange, and you'll find it somewhere there too.
20% off Manscaped.
That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye.